Welcome to our channel, where we explore the top 10 famous paintings by Piet Mondrian. Before we get started, be sure to give that like button a little love and hit subscribe to stay in the loop for future exciting content. 1. The Red Tree. The Red Tree is a 1910 painting by Piet Mondrian, a work from his glory days. He painted it while he was in the coastal resort of Domburg in Zealand, a summer pop artist colony at the time. His trees illustrate his transition to abstract cubism. After following popular trends in Dutch art, Piet Mondrian became involved in the Luminism movement, which paid more attention to lighting effects and rendered them using primary colors. In this piece, Mondrian balanced the contrasting shades of red and blue between the trees and the blue sky. Mondrian thus develops a sense of balance, which remains his main goal of appearing natural. This is the most famous painting of Mondrian's Radiance period and an important work in his tree-themed series. The painting can be seen at the Gemeentemuseum Den Haag in The Hague. 2. New York City 1. New York City 1 was created in New York in 1942 when Piet Mondrian moved from Europe to New York City in 1940 due to the outbreak of World War II, a transition that led to a new phase in his artistic career. New York City 1, or the series that later took its name from New York City, marked the beginning of a new phase in Mondrian's work. The black lines disappeared along with the primary color rectangles, and the black line patterns were replaced with colored strips, as well as new features like double lines. The artist's American style lasted until he died in 1944. New York City 1, along with Broadway Boogie Woogie, is Mondrian's most famous masterpiece during the final phase of his career when his artistic style reached its most evolved stage. 3. Self-Portrait. This self-portrait is a 1918 painting by Piet Mondrian. Although the artist depicted himself in many paintings throughout his artistic career, this one differs from the others in that it is the only one that clearly identifies him as a painter. This self-portrait is different from the traditional Mondrian style, more specific and rich in content, and the artist portrays himself in the work as a whole. The painting can be viewed at the Hague Museum in The Hague, the Netherlands. 4. The Grey Tree. The painting was completed when Mondrian began experimenting with cubism. Its foreground and background elements seemed mixed, and the palette was very limited. Subtly oval in shape, the tree follows another cubist practice in the work of Pablo Picasso and Georges Braque. In The Grey Tree, Mondrian combined the expressiveness of Van Gogh, the non-descriptiveness of Fauvist colors, and the linear patterns of French Art Nouveau to make it more constitutive and sculptural. It is a very innovative work by this artist. Now, it is in the Gemcent Museum collection in The Hague, the Netherlands. 5. Victory Boogie Woogie. Victory Boogie Woogie was Mondrian's last work, a painting conceived to celebrate the Allied victory in World War II, unfortunately unfinished until the artist's death. As an old artist in his 70s at that time, even in a semi-finished state, this painting showed great creativity and rich connotations. It marked Mondrian's ability to remain lively, receptive to new affairs, and flexible with his painting skills. Bright and lively, the painting reflects the artist's inspiration through upbeat music and adds a measurable color to his innovations during his American period, showing that Mondrian was not a dogmatic artist. As Paul Cézanne said, he is thinking with the eyes. Victory Boogie Woogie is a fascinating and convincing example of this development. 6. Composition 2 in red, blue, and yellow. Composition 2 in red, blue, and yellow is an oil painting by Mondrian, created from 1924 to 1925. This work best represents Mondrian's artistic thought. It puts a square in a rhombus pattern and divides the picture into many triangles, squares, rectangles, and various irregular figures by horizontal and vertical lines of different lengths. This painting, constructed with simple abstract language, contains special expressive effects that many paintings can't achieve. It is in the National Gallery of Art collection in Washington, USA. 7. Tableau I. Lozenge with 4 lines in gray. In the mid-1920s, Piet Mondrian began to create his rhombus paintings to express a more dynamic rhythm in his abstract paintings. Most of these Rhombus works were created after his break with the Stijl group over Theo van Doesburg's introduction of diagonal lines. A rhombus painting is called a rhombus because of the rhombus formed by Mondrian, tilting a square canvas at 45 degrees. The painting relies on only 4 lines of varying thickness, making it one of Mondrian's smallest canvases. It is also the artist's most famous rhombus painting, a style of creation that set an important precedent for minimalism in the 1960s. 8. Composition No. 10. Art historians define the period from 1912 to 1917 as Piet Mondrian's period of cubism. In 1914, Piet Mondrian lived in the seaside town for a time, creating a series of great works inspired by the sea and the breakwaters. A series of paintings called The Pier in the Sea pushed his cubist style to the extreme and is considered a decisive step towards pure abstraction. Composition No. 10 is the culmination of the series and is considered the highlight of his career development. 9. Broadway Boogie Woogie. Broadway Boogie Woogie was finished in 1943. Mondrian heard Broadway jazz on his first night in Manhattan and fell in love with the note division and improvisational melody. Broadway jazz originated from his fascination with New York architecture and the free rhythm of jazz, which he compared with his own dynamic rhythm. In this work, Mondrian removed the commonly used black and added inconsistent red, blue, gray, and white color points to the yellow geometric lines. These elements respond to the stop and start movement of the New York transportation system, as if they were blinking like a traffic light on Broadway. 10. Composition with large red plane, yellow, black, gray, and blue. In the 1920s, Mondrian began to create abstract paintings with his own characteristics. That is, the palette was limited to 3 primary colors such as white, black, and gray, and the composition was composed of thick black horizontal and vertical lines, which outline various colors or reserved rectangles. In this painting, he used a large dominant block of red, balanced by smaller blocks of yellow, blue, gray, and white distributed around it. This is one of his most famous early oncology masterpieces. Since the 1920s, many artists and designers have referenced this style in all aspects of culture. Piet Mondrian was one of the most famous painters of the 20th century, best known for his geometric abstract art. He pioneered the development of geometric abstraction, and his paintings are iconic examples of the Mannerist movement. As a Dutch painter, he believed that art should be simple and pure, based on the shape and color of the elements. While Mondrian denies any overt religious influence in his art, he admits that growing up in a Christian home had a deep influence on him, especially since his mature work includes many references to nature. Based on the research of Piet Mondrian's works of art and the innovative spirit of these artists, the Talmud team has developed a series of custom-made art souvenirs to provide exclusive custom-made souvenirs for world-renowned museums, galleries, immersive art exhibitions, etc. Please support and show appreciation by hitting super thanks. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more content. We appreciate you being part of our community. Until next time, take care and stay awesome.